Shashi Shekhar. Shashi Shekhar, are you ready?
Yeah, good morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Shashi Shekhar. Can you please give us a brief self-introduction?
I'm Shashi Shekhar. I belong to Bihar, Patna. I have done my graduation in electrical engineering from Punjab, Thapar University. Currently, I am working in a private sector organization called Baxter as a process mining specialist. I am currently employed in Bangalore, and I am happy to give this interview, sir.
Okay, Shashi, uh, you are from Patna, but you belong to Bhojpur, originally from Bhojpur.
Sir, yeah.
Have you lived in Bhojpur?
Sir, my early childhood days.
Early childhood. Okay, everybody knows about Patna, but not many people know about Bhojpur. Can you introduce Bhojpur to us?
The Bhojpur is a district in Bihar, also a cultural region in the western side of the Bihar, southwestern and western side of the Bihar. And it culturally, it also forms part of the eastern part of the UP. And in together, they are called, it is called Purvanchal. The language which is being spoken in that region is called Bhojpuri, which is a dialect of, considered a dialect of Hindi. And sir, it is a socially and it is a very rich, culturally very rich region, but it's not doing so much well economically as compared to rest of the regions in India.
Okay. In your DAF, you have mentioned that you have done some work on Formula Electric Hybrid.
Yes, sir.
What was the work you did? Where
So
did
in
you
my
do it?
university, when I was doing graduation, there was a competition organized by ATA, a automotive organization in Italy, for conducting competition in electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. We competed in that from my university, the mechanical department and the electrical department to produce a hybrid vehicle, which competed there, and we stood third. So the hybrid vehicle which we produced was a vehicle which utilized both electric motor and internal combustion engine, and the objective was to demonstrate efficiency, performance, and the design capability of our organization.
Okay. What practical applications will it have in the days to come?
So hybrid has a very important application in days to come, or I can say presently as well. It improves upon the efficiency of internal combustion engine by providing regenerative braking and storing on the braking energy, which is currently getting wasted in the internal combustion engine. And sir, it acts as a bridge between transition from internal combustion engine to completely electrical operated vehicles, because it offers higher efficiency than internal combustion engine with slightly more price than internal combustion engine, and less pricing than a full-blown electrical vehicle.
Okay, so you have done so well in electrical engineering. So why did you move from electrical engineering to IT?
Sir, it's a bit, kind of long story, sir. Basically, I graduated from electrical engineering and I joined an electrical company called Schneider Electric. There I worked for two years. Then I wanted to prepare for civil services because I was more interested in, remaining in the midst of the society and directly, tackling the societal problems and contributing to the society in a more meaningful and direct way. Having given some attempts, I realized that I'm somehow faltering in my preparation or my attempt. So I went back to the private sector and I got a chance in the IT sector, where I am contributing as a process mining specialist.
Shashi, just before we proceed further, can you look at the camera rather than the
Okay.
screen? Okay. Okay. Now you have not stopped at IT. You have moved to geology now.
Sir, my optional is
Optional. Why
geology.
did you take geology as optional?
Sir, while preparing for the exam, I also developed an interest in forest services. Since I had a same optional in both civil services and forest services, which is geology. And I also had interest in science. So I took, geology as an optional, sir, because I'm also giving forest services exam.
Okay, you are quite comfortable in geology.
I hope so.
Okay, I'm not going to ask many questions on because I don't have much idea about geology, but just layman's questions I would like to ask you. What is nowadays people say that Richter scale is not used for measuring earthquakes. Why is it so, and what other scales are used for measuring earthquake?
Sir, I completely not aware of the exact limitation with the Richter scale, but what it does is it measures the magnitude of the energy which is produced in an earthquake. The new scale which has, which is preferred over Richter scale is the moment magnitude scale, which measures the slip of the tectonic plates and the amount of the tectonic plates in the motion. So I believe, sir, this would give us a more correct estimation of the magnitude of the earthquake. The energy which is released from the earthquake, the magnitude of the energy. So I have this much information right now, sir.
Okay, the two terms, magnitude and intensity.
Yes.
What is the difference between these two, and which is more relevant for us?
So magnitude is the, the estimation of the total energy which is released from an earthquake. That will depend upon the movement of the plates and the distance and the amount of the plates which is involved. And sir, the intensity is the visible measurement of the visible impact which an earthquake causes to the human society infrastructure. And it depends upon the depth of the earthquake, the distance from the human settlement or the established, human related infrastructure. From a technical perspective, the magnitude would be a good indicator. But from a perspective of a policymaker or from a disaster management perspective, intensity is more suitable because it actually estimates the damage which the earthquake causes to the infrastructure.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. Okay. Uh, Recently, there was some landslide in northern part of Kerala, Wayanad district. Can you, as a student of geology, can you give us some idea about what is a landslide? How is a landslide caused? What causes a landslide?
So landslide is a fast movement of earth which causes widespread damage. It is a slippage of a rock body, which can be a hill, raised plateau, or it can be mud flow also. So the major factors behind landslide is it can be categorized into two sections. One is the geological or the natural phenomena, and the other is human induced. So in Kerala, I would say that it's combination of the heavy rainfalls combined with the disturbance of the natural topography by expanding on human settlement and plantation and construction work. It damages the strata and the foundation. And when there is a huge rainfall, the rainfall penetrates in the land and it weakens the structure and it causes a sudden flow. So this is the basic cause of the landslide in the Kerala region.
So it is partly man-made. Will you like to say that it is partly man-made?
Yes, sir, I would like to say that.
Does it apply to earthquakes also? Can earthquake be a man-made disaster?
Sir, there can be multiple causes for earthquake. One of the cause is can be related to human induced, which is one which has happened in 1960s in Koyana region, where we built a large dam and the huge storage of water disturbed the isostatic equilibrium in the earth and it caused minor seismic vibration in the earth. And apart from that, sir, any construction activity, any atomic explosion, or any implosion within the earth may also produce some seismic vibrations, which can lead to earthquake. But regarding the movement of tectonic plates, which causes large scale earthquake, it is largely a geological phenomenon.
Okay. As a student of geology, what would you say is the age of our Earth?
Sir, certain dating events and estimation has estimated the Earth to be 4.6 billion years old. along with the solar system in which it formed.
How do we measure it?
Uh, Sir, there are some dating principles through which we can measure the rocks which formed at that point of time. Since Earth does not have 4.6 billion year old rock because everything was melted at the time of formation, and we have the most dated rock which we find on Earth is from 4 to 4.1 billion years in Singmu, Kraton, and other regions. But we get, sir, meteorites from space which has been untouched since they formed with the solar system, and their age has been estimated to be 4.6 billion years. So in that way, we have, and there can be some more information, but this is the major way we know the age of the Earth.
How can we collect more information on the age of Earth?
The one way, other way would be to, sir, estimate the sun's activity. I mean, which stage in it in the in the star's life cycle, and by observing through through telescopes, different other galaxies and their behaviors, their birth, we can also take an informed estimate on the age of the Earth and the solar system.
What about studies which ISRO is now conducting on the lunar surface? Will it help in improving our knowledge of Earth?
Sir, I am not aware of that study, but
Okay, I know Earth, uh, Moon is a satellite of Earth, so Moon might have been
yes,
originally a part of Earth.
correct, sir.
Both Earth and Moon might have the same origin.
Yeah, it got
Okay,
created when a planet called Theia impacted the Earth and some part of Earth, and the planet Theia got separated from the Earth, and it started revolving around the Earth. So it is partly a part of the Earth crust, and study of Moon definitely will give us information about the age of the Earth and its origin. But I'm specifically not aware of this.
okay, don't worry. Okay, okay. What do you understand? Since you're an electrical engineer, I am asking this question. What do you understand by the term FAME India? FAME, FAME India.
Sir, it's a government scheme to promote the manufacturing of and adoption of electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles in India. So the government is giving incentives in terms of subsidy to the consumers and also subsidizing the producers through Ministry of Heavy Industry for the adoption of electric vehicles since it is more cleaner than the internal combustion engine.
Okay. There are two organizations. One is called SARC. There is another organization called the BIMSTEC. Why do we need these two organizations?
The SARC is an organization which represents the countries of South Asian region, which includes India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, then Sri Lanka, Nepal, Mauritius, Bhutan, and Nepal. It is an organization which helps us to expand our regional connectivity in terms of economics, trade, culture, social relationship. And any integrated region has a lot of benefits in terms of people-to-people collaboration, fighting the common challenges which the region faces, such as poverty, terrorism, disaster. So that for that reason, we need SARC. BIMSTEC is, sir, a organization which reflects the integration of South Asia and the Southeast Asia and the common point, which is Bay of Bengal. So the countries which surrounds the Bay of Bengal, BIMSTEC is created to increase the collaboration between these countries. And this helps us in navigating the challenges of Bay of Bengal, such as ensuring freedom of trade, freedom of communication, fighting natural disasters related to Bay of Bengal, such as cyclone, and increasing the maritime trade between these nations and the security of these countries.
Okay, my last question to you. What do you understand about the recent controversy about the reliability of EVMs, electronic voting machines? What do you understand about this controversy?
So the controversy is that since it is a digital machine for voting, some argue that it can be tampered since we don't have a physical, it is not completely physical and in a traditional sense, it is digital. It records the votes in a digital manner. So it is not very obvious in a traditional sense. So sometimes the opposition argue that there can be tampering with the electronic voting machine for the benefit of a particular party, and this creates a little bit of doubt in the mind of people. But sir, I would say that there are a lot of security protocols in electronic voting machine, including the the VVPAT, the verifiable paper audit trail. And then, sir, it is not connected to any other system. Then there are checks and balances in terms of who carries it. There is some trial voting which is happening in the before the start of the polling, and a lot of independent agency would also audit. The electronics behind it, and it is more suitable for India because we are a very large populous country for facilitation of voting mechanism.
Okay, I'll stop here. Pramod, you please.
Yeah. Shashi Shekhar, you have taken you have interest in geology. What is the effect of geology on the vegetation above and why?
Sir, geology plays, if I understand correctly, sir, you are asking about the role of geology in vegetation
On the vegetation above,
above.
on the earth's surface. Yeah.
So, sir,
The forest and
geology,
non-forest.
yes, sir. So, sir, geology determines the type of soil which gets formed in a particular region, which in turns kind of impacts the type of forest or the vegetation which grows in that particular region. Apart from that, sir, the aspect of the geological structure of of this Earth surface, its orientation, its steepness, everything determines the type of vegetation. So, for example, the teak plantation, not the teak, the conifers, they prefer schist and gneiss soil, which forms from schist and gneiss rocks, crystalline rocks in Himalayan region. In Himalayan region also, sir, the southern facing aspect of the mountains have less vegetation compared to the northern facing aspect because of the large insolation from sun which is present in the southern aspect, which reduces the moisture. So these two examples are there. But sir, since the vegetation grows on the earth's surface, geology has a profound impact on the type of vegetation which grows.
Okay. Now, as a student of geology, as somebody who has some knowledge of the subject, what are your views on construction of four-lane highways in the Himalayas?
Sir, Himalayas is a very seismically active region, very young region in terms of geological time scale. It is still rising due to the impact of Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. So it's a very fragile region. Given that the geological understanding, sir, the construction of roads and other infrastructure poses a ecological and structural challenge, but also, sir, to ensure regional development, overall development of the country, and ensuring our border areas are well developed, and the people living in the Himalayan regions are given the adequate infrastructure which they need as a part of this country. We need to ensure that there is a balance between development and the ecological concern and the geological impact the construction would have. So, sir, my view is that we need to follow a very careful approach while doing construction activity in the region to meet the needs of the people, but it should always take into account the region specifics and it cannot be developed in the same frame of mind as for say a plain region would.
Okay. And again, sticking to geology, what's its effect on the water crisis facing the country? Does the water crisis in different parts of the country has anything to do with geology?
Yes, sir. So, sir, geology kind of determines how, the type of aquifer present in the Earth's surface, which determines the amount of groundwater which a region holds, and how easily it can get recharged with the rainfall or the surface water. So, sir, the regions in peninsular India, central India, and western India, which is more formed from hard rocks and also uplifted, which does not hold water very in a very good manner, such as for say Gangetic plains, there is a issue of water shortage because the water does not get recharged easily, and we are, I mean, taking out the groundwater which the nature has recharged in thousands of years. So yes, sir, geology determines how we can use the groundwater, and it also gives a solution on how to ensure that our groundwater is recharged and to ensure sustainability.
Does it have anything also to do with the arsenic poisoning, which is quite often a serious problem for drinking water in many parts of the country?
Yes, sir. So, sir, in Gangetic Plains, particularly in West Bengal, and I think in Bihar as well, due to excessive withdrawal of groundwater, the water table has gone down, and it has caused the oxidation of arsenic present in that particular strata of the soil. And what happens is when the rain and when the arsenic gets oxidized because of the removal of water and getting in contact with the air or oxygen, it becomes soluble. So when the next time rain happens or when the water table rises, it dissolves the arsenic, which was earlier locked in the strata, and then it poses health risk to the population which relies on the groundwater for its drinking and sanitation purpose.
Okay. Now, let's move a little bit to the climate change. Recently, just last month, we had this COP 29. What was the outcome of this COP 29?
Sir, sir, I am not specifically aware of the concrete points in the outcome of the COP 29, but I can recall that there was discussion about financial transfer from developed countries to developing countries. India and other developing countries were asking for $1 trillion a year, but they did not. The developed countries did not agree to it, and the current status stands at $100 billion a year. But I don't think they are providing even that much. First thing was that. Second thing is that we still do not have a concrete agreement on limiting greenhouse gas emissions, which was there in the Kyoto Protocol, which would limit the global warming to the point of, I mean, till 1.5 degrees centigrades. And so there were some other discussions involving loss and damage mechanism for small island states. But I do not have concrete information right now, sir.
You have heard of the carbon credits? What are
Yes,
these
sir.
carbon credits? Yes.
Uh,
What are these?
yes. So carbon credit is a mechanism, market-based mechanism, where a company can trade carbon. For example, if a company implements a renewable energy project or does some efficiency improvement in their organization, they can quantify that it has caused a reduction of 1 ton of carbon dioxide emission on the earth. And thus it gains one carbon credit, which it can use to sell in the carbon market to a polluting industry who would finance it, so that there is a market mechanism to reduce carbon emissions in the country, and the organizations or the community which is involved in the reduction of carbon dioxide gets rewarded for the same.
Have you heard of greenwashing?
Yes.
What is that greenwashing?
So greenwashing is an attempt to show that there is a improvement in terms of climate change or ecological improvement, but it is just an attempt to show it. There is no concrete improvement in reality, and many organizations have been accused of doing so. So this is, I mean, in a nutshell, what greenwashing is.
There is a clause in the UNFCCC agreement that the measures taken by developed countries to mitigate climate change should not have any effect on the international trade. But in spite of that, recently the EU has brought in certain measures. Do you recall what that measure is?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is called carbon border adjustment mechanism.
Okay.
Uh, the genesis is that the European Union has agreed or want to eliminate its carbon emission and become carbon neutral by, I believe, 2030 or 50. I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of the exact year. For that target, they have imposed a lot of restrictions on the organizations or the industries working in the European Union to limit their carbon dioxide emissions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because but it also imposes a cost on doing business for those organizations. So those communities and industries are arguing that they are having to pay more for the emissions controlling technology, and it in effect it makes their product expensive. So they're not able to compete with the cheap imports, which is happening from rest of the regions, which do not have a burden of implementing the clean technologies as much as the European industries would. So to keep those companies, the importing company, I mean the companies which are exporting to the EU and the companies which lies in the EU at the same level playing field, the Europe has decided to implement carbon border adjustment mechanism.
Recently, I read yesterday, I think, read in the newspaper that Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudeva, the learned saint of Coimbatore, he said that the EV electronic vehicles are not the answer to control of air pollution. What are your views on that?
Sir, there are issues with electric vehicles regarding emissions. So the way emissions for any vehicle has majorly two stages. One is the emissions while manufacturing the vehicle, and the other is emissions while the vehicle is in operations, which is running, which is also called the tailpipe emissions in terms of internal combustion engines.
Hmm.
So, electric vehicles utilizes batteries which are made of lithium, cobalt, nickel, chromium, and these are rare earth minerals, and it requires mining the earth. And it has a huge ecological impact and huge greenhouse gas emissions for mining these minerals for the production of battery and for motors as well, sir, which needs neodymium magnet, which is also a rare earth mineral. So there is a good amount of carbon dioxide emissions for manufacturing the electric vehicles. And then, sir, if the electric vehicle is being run on thermal power plant, we are just shifting the emissions from tailpipe to a thermal power plant. So,
Okay.
basis these considerations, I think there is a case to be made that electric vehicles are not that clean.
Yesterday, just last question now. Yesterday, there was a news item that the president-elect Trump has expressed his desire to take over Panama Canal once again, or something to that effect. What are your views on this issue?
Uh, Sir, my views is that Panama is a sovereign country and there should be all the countries of the world should respect the sovereign country and the property which it owns. So it is the statement needs to be taken in account basis that. So it is not a very well judged statement in terms of respecting the sovereignty of other countries. Having said that, there are some concerns regarding the Panama Canal that it charges a huge huge charges for the freight movement through it. And historically, USA built it and operated it till 1999. So there is a need for dialogue and understanding and to sort out the issues of which President Donald Trump has raised. But in the dialogue between two sovereign countries, there should be respect for the each other's concerns, and the communication should be moderated accordingly.
Okay, good. Okay, Dr. Prasanna Kumar.
Thank you, Pramodji. Shashi, your interview is over for the
Thank you.
time being. Let us hear the comments of the other participants now. I am sure the other participants must have enjoyed the interview as much as we have enjoyed it. Who would like to start the commentary. Pulkit Bensal.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please switch on your camera if possible. Okay.
Am I visible, sir?
Yes. Please continue.
Yes. So, sir, I must congratulate Mr. Shashi for an excellent interview. It was very joyful to hear his conceptual to hear his answers with full of conceptual clarity. The only point I want to make is in the answer given by him regarding COP29 that he should have avoided beating around the bush when he was of the opinion that he has no concrete points. I think that would give some negative impact. That would create some negative impact on the panelists. Otherwise, it was an excellent and wonderful interview.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Anjali Gupta. You want to speak?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I found also interview was very much interesting and answers were really clear. And also I sometimes I found he was looking here and there. That might have avoided, like he whenever sometimes he think he looked sidewards.
That will not happen in UPSC in any case, so don't worry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But otherwise, the interview was excellent. It was really delightful to watch such an interview.
Okay, very good. Achal, you would like to say something? Please unmute yourself.
So sorry. So as the other two feedback givers also mentioned, it was really a conversation, not just a Q&A session. As Prasanna sir also mentioned that the interest in the answer should be there. A very good use of techniques. I found that he was able to deflect some of the places where he was not fully aware and concluded through summary and all of that. These are the methods that I could find. And the only suggestion I have is, so actually I have a geology background as well. So the only suggestion is some factual correctness is required in some of the answers. Like for example, the south slope vegetation aspect that Shashi sir had mentioned. So the vegetation on the south slope is more. I believe that he mentioned that it's less than the north slope due to the insolation and the moisture loss. But actually the forests are resilient enough that the insolation helped create more biomass on the southern slope than the northern slope. And then apart from that, it was really a pleasure and a delight because a non-geologist being in so in depth and so correct about many of the things. So I wish him all the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Achal. Anybody else? Okay, now Shashi Shekhar, you can give your feedback.
Sir, it was very delightful being interviewed by you too. I thought that I was lacking in terms of fluency and some information regarding COP29. I think I should have avoided it. I was aware of the general framework of the negotiations which is happening in the climate change. So I tried to position my answer basis on that. But definitely I was not aware of the concrete outcomes of that meeting. So I would have avoided that. The second thing is my eye movement. I think I need to have a little bit more of a natural posture while speaking. And in my pronunciation also, I need to be a little bit more natural in speaking.
Okay. Now, what I would like to tell you that, as I may already mentioned, I definitely enjoyed this interview, which means that you have done very well.
Thank you.
You are an excellent candidate, and as far as knowledge is concerned, you have done very good. Your preparation level is very high, and that is something I would say that you have practically set a benchmark for the other candidates to follow. So this is the kind of preparation which we expect from the candidates. Of course, there may be some shortcomings here and there. You don't have to worry about it. If you don't know the answer to some question, don't worry. It will not take away your marks. If you answer wrongly, that can create problems. But if you don't know the answer, it will not create any problem. So if you don't know the answer, don't answer. You can always say, sorry, I don't know. But as far as preparation is concerned, this is the way it has to be done. And the only issue which I would like to tell you is that occasionally you tend to prolong your answers a little more. Try to make them as brief as possible, not more than 5 sentences in any case. Ideally, 3 or 4 sentences should be enough, but outer limit is 5 sentences. So try to restrict your answer within the limit available. Of course, it's a limit set by yourself. You have to set a reasonable limit to your answer. You don't have to be resort to verbosity. Giving the point crisp, giving it in a crisp manner, that is more important. That is what is going to give you marks. And also try to reduce the speed of delivery a little bit. Not much, a little bit. That will improve the clarity. Clarity is more important than the verbosity or the speed of delivery. The speed of delivery is not at all important, but clarity is very much important. So, concentrate on that. Practice a little more on those lines. Maybe in your study groups you can do it. Along with your friends you can do it. But if you can do it, I'm sure you will have an excellent interview. Pramodji, please.
Yeah. So Shashi, it was an excellent interview. You were in command of the situation by and large, with minor issues here and there, not really very serious. You were choosing the right words generally. And also, I liked your answer to the question on Panama Canal. You brought out the issue of sovereignty, but you also brought out the other issue, excessively high charges, the fact that the Americans had invested hugely in that many 100 years plus back. So that the international community also has a kind of a stake in that. So that part you brought out, and I think it was important. So I feel very satisfied with your overall approach to the interview. Your eye contact, the facial expression, there was somewhat, you could be slightly more smiling if you like, but if it is natural to you, then it is perfectly fine. And but just knowing when to stop, I think that is one issue you can look at, as the chairman has already pointed out. Uh, so yes, good. Wish you good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions, Shashi?
No, sir. I think you have brought up the issues in my interview very well. I would work on that, sir.
In case you have any questions, as you sit along in the other interviews, you will get the answers naturally. Because we give answers to practically everything which you have in mind. So continue to attend. This is something this is an advice to all of you. Please continue to address and attend as many group mock interviews as possible, because every interview will give you a question bank.
Yes.
Can keep on adding to your question bank, and you can also see how the others are performing. So ask yourself, can I also perform like this? Or if there is any defect in the performance, can I remove, am I also guilty of such shortcomings? Can I remove them? So this is an ongoing process. So as you go along, you will, even without sitting on the hot seat, you will keep on improving yourself.
Yes.